What's up guys, Josh Olfert back with another video, and today I want to tell you guys how you can succeed as a new financial advisor if this is a career that you're pursuing. Time to think like an investor. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Josh. I'm obsessed with this idea of financial independence and investing and building wealth. If you're interested in those sorts of things, make sure to hit subscribe, hit like, and today I want to talk all about the things that I wish that I knew when I was just getting started as a new financial advisor, planner, just somebody in the client-facing investment business. It's a really intimidating business. It's extremely difficult to start. I've even heard statistics like, I have a class of, let's say, 20 new advisor recruits. Only 5 of them will be left after 3 years. It's a very tough business to cut your teeth in. And today I want to dive into what I would do if I was starting from scratch, if I was starting from brand new in the business today. Because a lot of you guys are asking about this. You're asking, what could I do to succeed as a new advisor? Now, when I started doing this channel, this isn't something that I thought would come up. I didn't think we would see other advisors watching this and trying to learn how to better their business or better themselves. I thought it would be mostly retail investors and consumers. But today, this video is dedicated for you guys. So if I were to start to talk about how one person can succeed as a new financial advisor, the first thing I would start to think about is what's your overall approach to this whole thing? And the reality is that there's a lot of randomness. Whenever you're gonna try to start a business or you're gonna try to start some new venture, there's always randomness, right? For instance, you could be working with some new client and you're all excited and you have them in the mill and it looks like it's about to become a deal, and then it turns out their cousin just got into the business and now they're leaving to go work with their cousin instead. This kind of stuff happens all the time. So we have to think probabilistically. We have to think about what is the best way to increase our odds of succeeding, rather than thinking about how is it that we're gonna, nail every single little variable and try to control everything. It's about thinking in probabilities. And to me, there's really 4 things that I would seriously focus on if I was doing this all over again to put the odds in my favor. The first one is you have to know your stuff. I mean, that's super basic, but you have to know your stuff. The second, you need to be producing content on the internet. It's a non-starter. It's something you have to do. Third, it's hard because some people are born this way, some people aren't, but you need to become personable. You need to become someone who feels trustworthy and someone that's just likable to be around. And I'm not even sure if I'm there yet, but that's something that's important. And lastly, you need an insane amount of patience, because no matter how well you do in all these areas, you're going to have to repeat them over and over and over again for 2 to 3 years minimum. My number one advantage when I started with this whole thing is that many years prior to actually getting into the business, I was reading every single thing I could about investing and finance and economics and all these different areas that are important to know before you get into financial services and before you advise or help other people do this kind of thing themselves. So the first thing, you need to know a ton. And if you guys want to know some of the top books, that's all on my website. I have a whole section about like finance and investing books that you can go look at. You need to be immersing yourself, because clients are going to have questions and they're going to want to know why what you're saying is the truth and why you wouldn't have it some other way, and why are we investing here instead of there, and why do you charge this fee instead of that fee. You need to have great answers to all these questions. So first things first is digesting as much financial content as you can possibly find. Investing, economics, personal finance. You need to be reading and immersing yourself in it. And what I found is that you're gonna go through all these different licensing exams. You're gonna do your investments, your insurance, your financial planning, all these different credentials that you have to get, but none of them really teach you the things that you need to know. A lot of the best lessons you're gonna learn are from the books that you read on your own and the learning that you do on your own. It's not gonna come from the exams they give you. Those are really just formalities to make sure that you're passing the grade. But the next thing you really wanna do is, for me, this was huge, because when I first started, I was young. I got into the business when I was 19 years old, and everybody who was a desirable client was 10 years older than me or much older. And what I had to do was find a way to get in front of those people. In this business, you're building your own clientele, and you get rewarded for bringing in more clients and serving more people. The one thing that I found that gave me a massive advantage was taking all this stuff I was reading, some investing book or some economics book, and I would take the main ideas and I would condense it into a blog post or a podcast. I'd put them up on WordPress or on SoundCloud, And this is really the big thing, is you have to get out on the internet. You have to start writing, you have to start doing videos, you have to start podcasting, because that gets you in front of so many people. You share it on your social media, you share it on your business website, whatever it is. And this just really starts to build trust, because people, they see what you act like, they see what they're getting themselves into, they can understand your philosophy a little better. So putting yourself out there builds that trust. And what you're not trying to do is have someone come across one of your posts and think, oh my goodness, I'm gonna go invest with that guy immediately. That's not how it's gonna work. But if you're consistently showing, let's say your whole social media following, that you are obsessed with this idea of investing and you love this so much, and this whole personal finance thing is your real passion, you'll display that by posting over and over again and always trying to provide value. And what's gonna happen, and this happens to this day, to me all the time, people say, Josh, I just wanted to reach out via text message, email, whatever it is. I have been reading your stuff for 2 or 3 years, and finally, I just decided it was the right time to make a move. And I'm like, man, where were you 3 years ago when I needed you so bad? It's hilarious, because you're gonna put all this content out there, you're gonna put all this energy into producing value on the internet, whatever it might be. And then only a year later or 2 years later do those clients who have always been reading your stuff start to build the trust and come invest with you. And I even had a story. I sat down at a Starbucks one time, and some guy started writing out a check for $200,000. And I was like, what the heck? First of all, we don't take checks. Second of all, don't you want to hear the spiel? Don't you want to hear how we invest? And he's like, no, I've been reading your stuff for 2 years. I know exactly how this goes. I've seen how you do it all. And I was like, wow. At that point, I really understood the power of putting yourself out there, putting your ideas out into the world, and just trying to provide value, trying to help other people through blogs, podcasts, whatever it is. That stuff is so easy to do. It is so easy to set up on your own. But okay, now we have a situation where you know your stuff, that's great, and you're putting yourself out there, and over time you're planting seeds and people are gonna start to come and see you. But then once you get in front of them, everything changes. For me, the first 10, 20, meetings as a financial advisor, I was red in the face. I was super nervous. I was stumbling over my words. I was trying to stick to some script, but I didn't really know how. It was all really unnatural. You just have to bust through that. You have to repeat, and do that over and over again. But the big idea here is you need to be a personable. You need to be someone who isn't all about business. When I sit with a client, my main goal is how much fun can we have in this conversation, and then fit in some finance stuff on the side. You want to be someone, the best way to start here is go read that book by, what was it called? How to Win Friends and Influence People. Call people by their first name, show interest in who they are. You're really trying to listen to the person. And I think the biggest mistake a lot of new advisors make, and I made over and over, and I still make it sometimes today, is you get so excited about the topic at hand that you talk and you talk and you talk. And the person who is receiving that advice is tuned out, because you're just saying all this kinds of stuff and no one really knows where this is going and it's all going over their head. It's important to be personable and let the person talk. So if we're in a position now where we know our stuff and we have people coming to us and we're personable enough, we've gone through that pain of those first 10 or 20 really bad meetings, and we're starting to become more ourselves, that's fantastic. That's great. I think by doing those three things, you are really maximizing the odds of success that you're going to have. But the last thing that you're missing is that you need to repeat this stuff for year after year after year after year, right? If you are going to be doing this career, you are not going to have success in the first year. You are not going to have success even in the second year. And I can even pull this up for you here. When I was starting in the business, I had the exact amounts. After my first year, I had $800,000 under management. That was the size of my book, $800,000. And if you don't know much about this business, that is nothing. That is tiny. That is the size of one client nowadays, for us at least. That is absolutely crazy. And the reality is, in that year, my first client I took had $500 and they were gonna add $25 a month. That was my first client. $500 up front, $25 every month. I was so excited to get that client. I was like, yes, somebody trusts me. But that was gonna generate $5 a year in fees for me. So that was no way to actually make a living. In year 2, I got to $2 million in assets under management. So we went from $800,000 to $2 million. Okay, so still not nearly enough to live off of. I'd have to be doing insurance or mortgages or financial planning fees or other stuff just to survive. And then year 3, we got to a little under 5 million. And then year 4, we got to 8 million. And now we're sitting around 10. So it's this slow grind of this growth process. And you need to be repeating these things over and over, always learning more stuff, always producing more content online. Even this YouTube channel, I never expected. I thought it might happen, but the goal was never to get clients for my business. This is just kind of a fun passion project, and if YouTube becomes a side income, awesome. But we have had so many different clients come to us because of this YouTube channel. Like, that's even just case in point. This stuff works. And then obviously, being personable, getting better at honing your people skills in those meetings, and getting better at communicating what it is that you're really helping them do, and then repeating those 3 things over and over and over for minimum 2 years, and don't give up until 3. And if you can do those things, I am almost sure that your life will for sure change. You might not become the most successful advisor ever, but you are at least stacking the odds or the probabilities in your favor that you are going to have a lot of success. So for all of you guys who are reaching out asking what I would recommend for a new financial advisor, those are really my 3 things, my 4 things. I would really invest in doing all of those. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you got any value out of it, if you enjoyed it, please hit that like button for our YouTube algorithm, and make sure to subscribe for more videos just like this one every single week. Until next time.